Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kid Show, and today we're talking about PlayStation because the president of PlayStation has just given us a lot of new details as to the immediate future of the PS5, and got some news for you. If you're a PlayStation fanboy, if you play on that console, it ain't looking too good for you. He broke some hearts on Valentine's Day, man, but for people like me on the PC, yeah, I think I'm pretty good, but we're gonna go over all the details. There's a lot to digest, but I've been really interested to see what his vision is for the future of PlayStation because, well, a lot of us have felt that Jim Ryan was dog shit. I mean, yeah, he knew how to sell consoles, he knew how to, he knew how to do business. But when it comes to the overall likability of the platform, especially in comparison to last generation, under leadership that was more gaming centric, in my opinion, Jim Ryan he was, if anything, he's just obnoxious. But their new president, however, it's quite interesting, and we finally get to have a glimpse into, well, what he's got cooking and what he's learned in the 4 months, I think, that he's been shadowing Jim Ryan in order to kind of take over. And he gets into a lot of the nitty gritty. So Sony Interactive Entertainment will not release any new major existing franchise titles before March 31st of 2025. So from here to March 31st of 2025, that's a little over a year. Not going to see any major existing franchise titles. So we're talking about their AAA, well-known exclusive games. They're AAA long-standing franchises like your God of Wars, your Marvel Spider-Mans, your Horizons. None of that we're gonna see. And no Ghost of Tsushima 2, which is depressing to me. You have to wonder, man, like, where is all of PlayStation's first-party developers? You know, it almost feels as though they're completely dependent on third-party deals, which is like, okay, whatever, man. You're paying to take games away from other platforms. You're kind of pricks for that. But like, I think a lot of us bought PS5s because we believed that we were going to get a lot of games from all of those first-party developers. And besides Naughty Dog really doing re-releases of their older games, and Insomniac carrying PlayStation on their back, and in my opinion, faltering a little bit with Marvel Spider-Man 2 in regards to its really sus story in some ways. Where is everyone? And just to know that we're not going to see any of these major releases coming for the next year. I mean, after 2022, besides Marvel Spider-Man 2 coming out, was a complete dry spell for first-party content. It's a boring platform. This is why I kind of just fucked off from PlayStation and went to PC. For me, look, I don't know about you dorks out here, but for me, if a platform ain't doing what I need it to do for me to keep me interested, to keep me invested in gaming is my main hobby. Okay, if PlayStation ain't doing it for me, I will fuck off elsewhere. Same thing with Xbox. Xbox ain't doing it for me, I'm going elsewhere. Nintendo ain't doing it for me, I'm going elsewhere. I don't know. I don't understand why these dorks that are on these consoles and they're lying to themselves that, oh yeah, everything's good over here, everything's perfect, they won't go anywhere else. And they claim that gaming's their main hobby. They claim that they're hardcore gamers. But the only thing is, a lot of y'all are just hardcore company fucking dick eaters. It's really what you prove to me. But to sit here and be on a platform that just ain't doing it, man, to be stuck to that platform, to hold that allegiance, I think Xbox is in a similar position where they just ain't shit, bro. I think this entire generation, besides Nintendo carrying gaming on its back on this little handheld that, honestly, performance is a serious issue, but this little handheld providing really solid games that are fun experiences. I think Xbox and PlayStation have just shit the bed this generation. Like, if this generation's like PS4.5 or Xbox 1.5, it doesn't feel like even remotely worth worth anything, worth voicing about. I'm just very bored. But to continue on with this information, major projects are currently under development. Sony Interactive Entertainment does not plan to release any new major existing franchise titles next fiscal year, which ends March 31st, 2025, the company said during its fiscal year 2023 quarter 3 earnings briefing. And they said, regarding first-party software, we aim to continue to focus on producing high-quality works and developing live service games. Sony Group President, Chief Operating Officer, and Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki said. But while major projects are currently under development, we do not plan to release any new major existing franchise titles next fiscal year. Editor's note, beginning April 1st, 2024 and ends March 31st, 2025, like God of War Ragnarok and Marvel Spider-Man 2. So if they aren't releasing their major titles, their major AAA titles, I mean, that's what they're saying is not coming out. But what can come out, realistically speaking? If not that, then what? Well, there's rumors that Sony is going back to, normalizing releasing smaller scale games to kind of give gamers some extra stuff to play while they wait for these major, all these major, first party AAA games. So I think that's something that they really have needed to do. And I think that's a step in the right direction for PlayStation. Look at Helldivers 2, for example. It turned out to be a pretty damn big success. I think Sony wasn't even expecting that level of success. It released day and date with PC and PS5, and it's been doing super well. I have a bunch of friends that have been playing it. I bought it. I played it for about 4 hours, but right now Persona 3 just owns my soul, so I've been super into that. But from what I played, it's a pretty solid game. It takes a little getting used to for the learning curve, but I think that that's a great start. And I think that the genuine success of this game that we're seeing thus far will encourage PlayStation to release a lot of those smaller scale projects. Maybe they're working on some of those smaller scale projects. I think that's awesome that they do that, and they got away from that on their transition from PS4 to PS5, which I think was a huge mistake. But if they bring that back, I mean, if that some stuff that gets released during this period where they're saying there's no first party AAA games that they know that we know of, those franchises, then those replacement games, those smaller scale games, I like smaller scale games. So that could be stuff that interests me. And if so, hey man, that's cool because they're AAAs. But what else can be released realistically? Judging by this statement, well, new IPs, baby, and that's something I think that Sony also needs to get into, dropping some new IPs, because that was what they were big on last generation during the PS4 era, and I think it was really good for them. It always piqued my interest to see a new IP being introduced, even if I ended up not liking it. For example, like I tried Horizon Zero Dawn, didn't really like it. Was it exciting to see and I wanted to give it a try? Hell yeah, I gave it a try. Gave it the old college try, it wasn't for me, but it was cool to see a brand new IP, them really kind of just trying new things and taking chances on that front. So they could definitely be introducing some new IPs. They say it should be noted that while major existing franchise titles, including intellectual property such as God of War and Marvel Spider-Man, does not include new intellectual property like Concord, and that's what Bungie's working on, Destiny 2 devs, and non-major existing franchise titles like Until Dawn. And okay, so I mean, like they're also saying here, this doesn't mean that there will be nothing coming out. There could potentially be things that we just don't have release dates for because, well, PlayStation has definitely held their cards close to their chest for quite a minute now. So while I'd say, it's not like they're not saying nothing's coming out, but don't get your hopes up either because we just don't know. I can't pretend to know things that I don't know, so I'm just not going to do that. And they said, Totoki continued, although the burden of acquisition-related costs will ease next financial year. Ooh, hold on. Although the burden of acquisition-related costs will ease next fiscal year. So I guess they're going to stop buying studios stuff. So to me, that's a positive. I don't think that the industry needs to consolidate anymore. I think that a lot of these companies have spent a lot of money just frivolously, man, thinking that lockdowns were forever or something. I don't know. You know, I don't know what's the case, but a lot of these companies are starting to realize that, yeah, we overspent. I think Microsoft's starting to realize, yeah, we definitely overspent with this ABK deal. And companies like Embracer Group, they're now downsizing like crazy because they couldn't make an investment with Saudi. And they've been just axing so many game developers from some well-known studios, which is absolutely pathetic of them. They just should have not have acquired so much stuff to begin with. But they say we expect profit from first-party software to decrease slightly from this fiscal year due to the impact of the decrease in sales. Yeah, because there's nothing, you have nothing new to give us. It's crazy, man. You know, the last game was Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in September of 2022, and then the previous game before that was, oh my god, it was God of War Ragnarok, November of 2021. And then people say, oh yeah, you know, this generation is better than last generation. Well, maybe PlayStation was super slow with PS4 those first couple of years. That is definitely not arguable. That is a reality. But it's crazy that PS5 went from being like, yeah, we're going to throw all these games at you. We're going to knock the shit out of you with all these games the first, year to 2 years, and then just completely just fall off the map. To me, that's absolutely ridiculous. We should be really, like, they've had this time, guys, to really just, PlayStation has had the time to really create their timeline of games. They've had that time. It's time to see the true fruits of the PS5 hardware right now. Year 3 specifically, year 4, like, this is where you're supposed to get the truly cherished games, and we're not getting that. And then when I voice it, like, people just come to bat all the time for PlayStation. It's like, this is when we're supposed to be getting, like, the sweetest of fruits, man, from a console generation. How are you, like, arguing with me? How is this an argument or a debate? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that people actually argue and make excuses for this fucking company. But I don't know, man. They said due to this, operating income for the next fiscal year is currently expecting to increase slightly. You guys know I don't like talking numbers. You guys know I don't care. I just want to know the direction the company is heading in. Talking numbers, mentally I'm checked out. Totoki also discussed the company's future outlook on PS5 hardware sales during the next fiscal year regarding the PlayStation 5 hardware, which will enter its 5th year since launch, partially due to its entering the latter half of the console cycle. We aim to optimize sales with a greater emphasis on balance with profits. Yeah, so basically they're going to try to spend less because they ain't got shit to sell you to make money, to encourage people to buy new consoles. So yeah, they're going to try and downsize their spending. So we anticipate a gradual decline in unit sales from next fiscal year onwards, Totoki said. We expect third-party software sales to continue to expand gradually due to the expansion of the PS5 install base, which obviously makes sense, and high level of user engagement. In network service, we expect subscribers to be on par with the fiscal year or slightly less due to impact or price revision we implemented in this fiscal year. Yeah, they raised prices on people. Oh, man. Honestly, PlayStation's such a joke, man. Like, you know, yeah, I think all of gaming is just one big joke at this point. This is why PC Master Race, baby. But we expect sales to gradually expand due to shift to attractive premium services. Oh man, but not games. You know, Xbox got no games. That's always been the running theme, and it was truly an issue. Xbox One generation and the first year of Xbox Series console, but PlayStation got no games, so they're dependent on premium services to sell their console and to get them profit. Amazing. The outlook of the next fiscal year. So hardware sales decline because they don't have first-party games to sell their hardware. Software sales decrease with no plan for release of major franchise titles. So they've already ran, like God of War Ragnarok and Marvel Spider-Man have kind of already run their course. and they have nothing new in terms of big franchise heavy hitter releases. So yeah, software sales decline, burden of acquisition related costs easing, first party software profits slight decrease. Yeah, because they don't have any new software to sell you. Third party software sales gradual expansion because more people buy the console, therefore more third party sales. Network service revenue gradual expansion. Yeah, right, whatever. Finally, Totoki discussed his role as chairman, Sony Interactive Entertainment. This is what I want to hear, baby. This is the interesting information because he's the one that's going to guide PlayStation. And, well, is PlayStation going to be worth keeping an eye on in the near future? Is it going to improve from Jim Ryan? That's what I want to see. Which he assumed in October 2023. And he visits to its internal studios. And his visits to his internal studios. Okay. So it's been about 4 months since I became chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment. And I'm trying to demonstrate leadership and trying to have as many meetings as possible with the management team, Totoki said. I also visit studios and everyone is working really hard to fulfill their responsibility to try and optimize the business. And I understand that. But overall growth and sustainable profitability or increasing margins, how will that translate into these goals? I don't think people understand that deeply. I think that is the problem with the organization. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to understand what is happening in the company, in the industry, and also in the perspective of the analysis, and try to explain in a transparent manner so that people can recognize and notice these issues so that we can have harmonized approach going forward. That is a very general comment since I became the chairman. There are concrete points which will not go into today. So you know what that sounds like to me? So he's saying how he visited, their studios and whatnot. What it sounds like to me, and I could be wrong, it sounds like to me he notices how much money these games cost to make. And he probably thinks, honestly speaking, that the cost of these games is ridiculous, because I think that it's ridiculous. Where you're telling me, and with the leaks, we discovered that Ghost of Tsushima costs under $90 million to make. And then you're telling me stuff like Marvel Spider-Man 2 costs like $300 million to make. Where is this imbalance, man? I can't put a finger on it when it comes to gaming. Like, what is the issue when it comes to these insanely inflated costs? But what tends to be the case, at least with film, of these insane production costs, tends to be, more often than not, you don't have the right people for the job. You've hired a bunch of people that are not as talented as other people you could have hired, or you have to hire more people because, well, they can only do these certain things, and then you have to hire more people in order to do the mass majority of things, and, well, it ends up you putting more money into the project. If you don't have the right people that know what they're doing, dump more money into it. One example I always bring up is X-Men 3. Ryan Singer walked out with all the writers for X-Men of X2, X-Men United, and went to go do Superman Returns. And that core team knew how to write X-Men in a meaningful way. Whether you have some issues with X2, X-Men United or not, is still a good film. And overall, they kind of created a synergy for X-Men. Guess what? Fox was like, okay, well, the director walked out with all our writers, and they were working on X-Men 3, The Last Stand. So, well, let's get new team and just dump $100 million more into the project. That'll even things out. And then look at the reception of X-Men: The Last Stand. Yeah, that's the issue that I'm discussing. That's probably, like, honestly, I don't feel the apple falls far from the tree in regards to entertainment when it comes to having to spend more money, because you just don't have the right people for the job. You don't have the most talented people for the job. And industries of entertainment have grown accustomed to hiring for all reasons other than, oh, are you the best person for the job? Actually, that seems lately, in a lot of forms of entertainment, to be the thing that's ignored the most. Are you the best person for the job? So I think that could be a serious issue. And really, at the end of the day, a lot of these companies are just pretentious as fuck. Naughty Dog wants to do all this extra stuff and make their games like films, and really just I just don't think that what they're doing is really fun. They don't make the gamers games anymore. They make games for really just the general audience that thinks that, oh man, if I'm into this, then I'm a hardcore gamer, or this is like the pinnacle of gaming right here, and I'm a connoisseur of gaming. Like they make games that fool casuals into thinking they're hardcore gamers. But I don't know. Let's not go down that huge rabbit hole. But yeah, they don't. A lot of PlayStation studios, they have a hard time making the gamer's game. At least in my personal opinion. And to me, that's more of like a me definition of it. Some people definitely won't understand what I mean by that. But it's one of those things in my head. I completely understand what it means, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it. But maybe you guys get it. Maybe you don't. I don't want to spend a million years trying to explain it. But overall, that's what I kind of got from this. I think that he's concerned with the insane budgets of these games. And given some of these games might be amazing, but to put all this money and then the return on investment, some of these games, they're having a hard time seeing profit. It takes a long time to see profit after putting $300 million into a video game. And then to go on with not putting microtransactions, loot boxes, all the nonsense in the game, ripping pieces out of the game to sell at DLC. I mean, that's things that they'll have to. I would think at some point they may have to resort to. Definitely putting out those live service games that you pay money to buy the game, and then later on, more and more transactions. Like at that point, if you're spending all this money on these games, you're gonna have to resort to nefarious means of making money, making profit. And then they said now about visiting the studios, and I've had meetings with the leaders there. The studios, people who work in the studios have very high motivation. They're highly motivated. They're very good people, and they're very creative people. This this part of the article sounds kind of like Donald Trump is speaking. Oh my god. They have great creative minds, and they also have knowledge about live streaming. However, having said that, when it comes to the business itself, I think there is room for improvement, and that's got to do about how to use the money and about the schedule of development, or how to fulfill one's accountability towards development. And he's probably looking at the people that are managing these projects too. Are you doing an adequate job of time management? If you're the director of a game and you're not properly scheduling stuff, that ends up costing the company money. So they're probably looking at not just the staff themselves, and if they're truly talented, they're the best person for the job, but they're probably looking at the big heads of these studios, being like, hey, are you good at time management? I said, these are my frank impressions, so I will continue to engage in dialogue with the people who find the right way to proceed. So that is, interesting. I think that there's some interesting thoughts here. But it doesn't end there, because here's what interests me more than anything else right now, guys. Because, well, you guys know I've pretty much moved on to PC. I do own PS5, so worst case scenario, I can play games on PS5, but why, when I can play them on PC and they run better and look better and I have more freedom to do what I want with my game? But shout out to Genkai here. It says Sony president Hiroki Totoki said he wants to go aggressive in improving margins by growing first party with multi-platform. Baby, it sounds like day and date is coming, motherfucker. Yes, sir. I love to hear it. We're getting multi-plats, baby, day and date. And look, if you guys think that Sony is not looking at Helldivers 2 and how well it's done, releasing day and date on PS5 and PC, and seeing them numbers, especially on Steam, ooh, baby. they're looking at them numbers like, oh man, people are more in like PC gamers are more invigorated to buy our games if we put them day one on their platform. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Oh my gosh. Yeah, if it takes you 2 years to port the game over to PC after a game's been out, then yeah, at that point it's like, well, I might as well just wait for a major sale. Might as well just wait for the game to be half the price anyway. I've already waited 2 years. What's another year? Too much stuff to play, man. Too many other companies that have dope ass things to play. I'm playing Persona 5 right now, okay? So I could wait for a port. It doesn't matter. And with all these JRPGs or just RPGs in general, like these long RPGs coming out, yeah, we could wait forever for them games to get dirt cheap. But day and date, with the excitement, the hype there, look at Helldivers 2, man. They said in the past, we wanted to popularize console and first-party titles. Main purpose was to make the console popular. It is true, but there is a synergy to it. So if you have strong first-party content, not only with our console, but also other platforms like computers, PC, baby. It's talking about the PC. Let's go. First-party can be grown with multi-platform, and that can help operating profit to improve. So that is another one we want to proactively work on. And at the end of the day, man, more sales means more profit. They know that PC gamers do want their games. It just depends. Like, how are you releasing the game? When is the game coming out after the original release? Like, really, if you pussyfoot around with it, yeah, we're gonna be disinterested. But hey, day and date Helldivers 2, the homies on PS5 was playing it. PC gamers, believe it or not, have PS5 buddies. The crossplay has been cool. I've been seeing people play the game crossplay. That's awesome to see, man. But there should definitely be more of that. And not just for their live service games that are inbound. And he said, I personally think there are opportunities out there for improvement of margins. So I would like to go aggressive in improving our margin performance. So, could be wrong, but generally I think he wants to definitely lower the cost of these games and also put these games on more places for gamers to buy. More sales equals more money. It sounds like to me he's definitely pushing for more money in ways that I think are beneficial to us. I would definitely like to see games cost less to make, be more concerned with the importance of what fundamental gaming is, like the fundamental gameplay. To me, gameplay is king. Adding on all this other nonsense to me is just, you're getting away from the fundamentals of what makes the game worth buying to begin with. Once you get pretentious, once you're just like wanting to do all this other extra stuff, like, no. Like, Ghost of Tsushima cost less than 90 million to make. Why can't all these other games cost under 100 million to make? Why do these games have to be $300 million? It's insane. It's not sustainable. It's not realistic. But I also think that he wants to get these games out at a faster pace too, because hey, the faster these games get done, the less money spent overall. And so the faster they can make turn a profit on these games. So if it's less time to make them, less money to make them, easier to turn a profit and have wider profits. And then, hey man, more gamers to sell games to by going multi-plat. Sounded good to me, man. I'm liking Hiroki Totoki right now. I'm liking where he's coming from. I think that so far so good. So far I'm warming up to him. Didn't warm up to Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan is a dickhead. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this. For me, it sounds like it kind of sucks for PlayStation 5 gamers. I feel as though just like last year, where PC gamers got more more PlayStation games, I should say. PC gamers got more PlayStation games than PS5 got PlayStation games. It sounds like this year might be going down the same exact path. So yeah, guys, cope and seethe over on the PS5. Get on a real platform. Meeting like Xbox or Nintendo. I don't know. Get on Nintendo. That's where the real games are, guys, at the end of the day. But guys, let me know what you think about this. Just don't come over to PC. We don't want you. Anyways, if you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitter or Kick if you'd like to continue the conversation. The Xbox event is tomorrow. Too Real for Feels podcast is tomorrow. So definitely tune in for that. Keeping you guys entertained with all the content, baby. So if you can, show love. I uploaded a Tomb Raider video today. Uploaded a Stellar Blade video previously, so check those out if you haven't. And guys, while being sent them out, check out my merch store. Peace.